Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a topic many find intriguing, chess. And it comes straight from something you shared, a transcript of a chess lesson.
Mm,
Our mission in this deep dive is basically to pull out the core stuff about chess, make the board, the pieces, the basic rules really clear for you, whether you're brand new or just, curious.
exactly. What you gave us was, well, is a fascinating look into how someone starts learning chess,
Yeah,
even if that student wasn't exactly thrilled.
right.
But the dialogue, it has all the basics we need. We're going to look at setting up the board, what each piece does, how it moves, and those key terms you hear in the game.
Okay, let's get into it then, thinking about you listening as we go. The lesson kicks off right at the start, setting up 16 pieces each, right? White and black.
Yep, 16.
And the transcript says the pawns go in the front row closest to you.
That's right. And as you heard in that lesson, pawns are sometimes called the least viable pieces. Now, that sounds a bit dismissive maybe,
A little bit, yeah.
but it really just points to how they move initially. On their very first move, a pawn can go forward one or even two spaces, kind of like they're eager, but maybe a bit hesitant.
2 spaces. Okay, for the first move only. Makes sense, like pushing out to form a line. But after that first go, it's just 1 space forward each time for the pawns, like you heard.
Precisely. But, and this is key, taking another piece is different.
Ah, yeah, the diagonal thing. The transcript mentioned that a pawn moves 1 space diagonally forward to capture. So they can't just, like, slide sideways or go backwards.
Correct. Always forward, generally, but that special one-step diagonal move is just for capturing.
What's kind of interesting here, and the source touches on this, is the bigger idea of a pawn-like, something seemingly less important that you might use strategically, maybe for distraction.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Like in strategy games, you have units that seem weaker, but are key for the big picture. Okay, front line is sorted. Now, the bigger pieces, the major ones, first up in the transcript, the rook. Looks like a tower, right on the corners. Yes, the rooks start in the four corners, and their movement is, well, literally straightforward. Any number of empty squares in straight lines, forward, backward, or sideways, along the rows and columns. Ranks and files, we call them.
So total freedom in straight lines, as long as nothing's blocking the path. The transcript noted they might not seem flashy early on, but get super powerful later. So for you learning, remember that. Don't ignore the rook.
That's really crucial. As the board clears, their power to control whole lines becomes huge, like a laser beam sweeping across. Next to the rook, the bishop, described in the transcript as having a tall hat.
And the bishop moves totally differently, right? All about the diagonals. The source stressed the 4 diagonal directions.
Exactly. And a bishop always stays on the color. It
Lovely.
starts on light square or dark square. It moves any number of free squares diagonally. So you have one for each color, and they never switch. Gives them a unique reach. Think about attacking from afar along those angles.
Okay, rook straight, bishop diagonal. Now for the little horsey the knight. Its move always seemed the weirdest to me. For you listening, this one needs visualizing.
The knight's move is unique. Takes a bit to get used to. It's an L shape. 2 squares one way, straight, like a rook, then 1 square sideways, perpendicularly.
Right.
And crucially, it's the only piece that can jump over other pieces.
Jump over, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't care what's between its start and end squares.
An L shape. Okay, 2 steps forward, 1 sideways. 2 sideways, 1 forward, like a little side step. The transcript said it's important, protect it. Why is that so key for someone starting out?
Well, even though it seems short range compared to a rook or bishop, that jump and the weird L move mean it can hit squares others can't. It's great in crowded spots for surprise attacks.
Yeah,
A real disruptor.
got it. Your agile, unexpected attacker pops up where you don't expect. Okay, now the husband and wife, as the transcript called them, queen and king. Let's do the queen first. Described as the killer can do anything she wants. Sounds intense.
Well, movement-wise, she is the most powerful piece you've got, hands down.
Mm.
The queen basically combines the rook and the bishop moves. Any number of empty squares, straight or diagonal.
Whoa, okay. All the rook straight power, all the bishop's diagonal reach, one piece. No wonder they called her the killer. And then the king. Part of the pair, but moves much more cautiously. His safety is everything, right? For you, the player.
Absolutely. The king moves only 1 single square, but in any direction, forward, back, sideways, diagonal, just 1 step. Limited movement, but he's the whole point. The game ends if he's captured.
Which brings us to Checkmate. Yeah, the transcript mentioned that. So we've covered all the pieces, how they move. It's kind of cool how each one has its own personality based on its movement.
It really is. That's fundamental to chess strategy, knowing each piece's strengths and weaknesses, how they work together. Now, The transcript also mentions something relatable, the learner's view. The kid, Bobby, thought it was boring, wanted video games.
Which, yeah, probably hits home for a lot of people. With all the instant entertainment now, a slower game like chess, it might seem less appealing at first glance. It highlights that contrast, doesn't it? Deliberate strategy versus fast-paced digital stuff.
Exactly. It makes you think about how we engage with different kinds of fun and learning. Chess, even being ancient, still builds critical thinking, planning ahead. It's
Oh,
just a different kind of reward, you know?
definitely. Okay, let's nail down some key terms from that dialogue you shared. First, to move diagonally. We mentioned it with bishops and pawns, but the transcript gave a clear definition for you.
It did. Diagonal just means at an angle, not straight up down or side to side, like following the colored squares diagonally. Crucial for understanding bishops, queens, even those pawn captures.
Yeah. Then Little Horsey, the cute name for the knight. The transcript called it baby talk, basically.
Yeah, instructors often use friendlier terms for kids. Makes it less intimidating, more fun when you're just learning who's who.
And taking a piece is to capture. The transcript noted it's maybe nicer than saying killing it. For you playing, capture is vital, removing their guys, protecting yours.
Precisely. Capture means take and keep their piece. The transcript even compared it to capture the flag, seizing something.
Hmm.
And interestingly, like the transcript said, some languages are more vivid. Spanish apparently uses a word like to eat the piece.
Eat the piece. Wow, that's graphic. Okay, the big two, check and checkmate. Transcript says check is when your king's threatened with capture next move, an alarm bell.
That's it. Check is a warning. You have to deal with it immediately. Can't just ignore it.
And checkmate is the end. Game over. King's trapped. No legal move to escape. You heard it there.
Exactly. And here's that cool history bit the transcript had. Checkmate comes from Persian, meaning the king is captured or defeated, not necessarily like killed. Adds depth, doesn't it? Knowing the origin. The Spanish version, hickmate, was mentioned too, shows how the term traveled.
So interesting. Not about destruction, but trapping. Knowing the history adds a layer. Finally, the transcript did a quick vocab review. Always good for you learning, helps it stick.
Absolutely. Knowing the basic chess words is step one to actually playing and understanding.
So quick recap for you. Pawns in front, mostly forward, capture diagonally, rooks on corners, straight lines, bishops next door, diagonals, knights do the weird L jump, queen's the powerhouse, any direction. King moves one step, most important. Check means danger, checkmate means game over. And it involves capturing.
Perfect summary. All the core stuff from the material you shared.
Well, this deep dive into chess basics shows it's more than just strategy. It's got history and its language. Think about how each piece moves differently, the goal of protecting the king. It creates this complex puzzle, kind of like the decisions we make in life, right? Makes you wonder what other simple-looking systems have hidden depths and history waiting for us. Something to think about. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.